Today is January 22nd, but I'm actually doing a trade recap for the 20th. So, Monday the 19th, market was technically open because I don't know, but it was future, so I did not trade Monday. It was MLK, so no trading on that day. Tuesday, I did place a trade. It was actually a loss, so I lost a little bit of money. That was kind of sad. But yesterday, which was the 21st, I did place a trade and I actually did make some money. And I'll do it, and I'll probably post that another day, that trade recap maybe tomorrow. But I'm gonna do the 20th trade recap. So I forgot to do this, but let me mark out when market opened. Okay, there we go. So, looking at market open, um we had this high, right? We had London high taken out in the pre-market. We had London low, which did not get swept. We had Asian session low, which did get swept. And then we have this high, which did not, right? So, same thing on NQ. We have London high, which got swept. London low, Asian session low got swept. Asian session high did not. London session low did not. So, yeah. Going. Let's look at the 4 hour because I kind of like to work my way down on the time frames. Go from the high time frame to the low time frame and go lower and lower. So we had this big gap made in the week that was due to tariffs on Greenland with like countries not wanting the Greenland deal and stuff. But yeah, so market opened, left this big gap right there. Market comes down, we hit this daily low, we hit the other daily low, and that's pretty much it, right? So we have Friday low taken out, and then we had the 19th low taken out as well. Same thing on ES, right? Looking at the 4 hour time frame, we're bearish. Same thing on NASDAQ. Looking at take profits on the sell and buy side draws of liquidity, all we had was Asian session high and this daily high, the opening high on MLK on Monday, right? So this was all the draws on liquidity on the buy side. And then we had a few better highs on ES to hit, right? And then looking at the sell side, we had Asia session low, London session low, and anything after that would have been way too far away, right? We're not gonna take a 200-point move down, right? So, yeah. So looking at take profits, it doesn't look like too good of a day, right? And that's what I was thinking too. We're like in the middle between these highs and these lows. And we also had the high time frame liquidity, sell side liquidity sweep. But on the 4 hour we were bearish, and on the 1 hour we were bullish, right? So we had some fighting confluences, right? So I kind of rated to see what market would do, right? We come up, we take out this low resistance liquidity, London session high, same thing on ES, right? So I'm kind of thinking maybe we could get reversed off of these highs and actually take a short. On the lower time frame, we see this 15-minute low on ES. Same thing on NASDAQ. We also have this 15-minute low. And looking at the 5-minute, which is typically what I'm always looking at when I'm day trading, we moved sideways for a lot of the morning, right? I was thinking maybe about taking longs on Nasdaq, right? Because we were a little closer to these highs than we were on ES, right? Um, and for a little bit of the morning, we did have a slight SMT as well, but we later cleared that up. We did not have an SMT. It was kind of confusing, but I wanted shorts because the likelihood of us having shorts were much better because when we measure the distance to those two lows, it's only 52 points, whereas those highs are 84 points, right? And we don't have a 5-minute liquidity sweep either, right? So if we're going to make a big move to the upside, I would wait for a 5-minute liquidity sweep, which we did not get. Meanwhile, on both indexes, we had a 5-minute liquidity sweep after market open, which was really awesome. We had this 5-minute liquidity sweep at 950, and then same thing on Nasdaq, right? So now I'm beginning to look for short positions. I wait for a 5-minute confirmation. Um, no, we get that in the 5-minute break of structure. You could have also looked at the 79% extension, right? And we did get that as well on this candle. But I wanted to wait for a break of structure. Once I had that, once I had the break of structure, I looked for like a 5-minute retrace. I don't always wait for a 5-minute retrace, but I like it. Yeah. So we have equilibrium established. We did not break structure on Nasdaq. Nasdaq kept moving. So for that reason, I really wasn't looking at Nasdaq. It didn't have super good price action. I was really only paying attention to ES. I did see on the 5-minute though, as you can see, we did not fill the price, right? We did with this retrace right here, which also gave us the confirmation. So we sort of did get equilibrium hit on this candle, which was also the candle which gave us the 5-minute confirmation. So that is 10:05. And then I scale down, I look at the 1-minute, and we have a 1-minute gap, which we inversed just barely, right? So that wasn't looking too good. But then we get a lot of sell side volume, right? We get a lot of selling power in the market, and we get a break of structure on this candle, 10:08. And so now I'm looking at the price at 10:08, and we're super close to these lows. We had the 5-minute liquidity sweep up here. We're not close to these highs. Where do I think market's going to go? I think it's going to go down. We're bearish on the 4-hour on both indexes. So I'm like, awesome, let's take a short, right? And we did have a few bearish SMTs made in the morning, but then they got completed. So I was pretty convicted on this trade, right? So I did not enter on the 10:08 candle. I always like to have a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. I wanted this to be my stop loss, this 1-minute high, and of course the London session low as my take profit because there was no other lows past that. So we did not get in at 10:08, but I did get in at 10:09 when price had that little bit, of a retrace. That's where I entered. And as pretty clearly you can see that price hit my stop loss, which kind of sucked, right? So this was a loss, not super awesome. And looking at the day, I don't think there's anything else I could have done differently, right? We were bearish on the 5-minute, the 4-hour, we were bearish, right? And price comes up, right? And it's trading into nothing. We were also bearish on the 1 hour when we came into market open. We didn't break structural until 11 o'clock. So we were actually bearish on the 1 hour, and NASDAQ was bullish on the 1 hour, right? So, and then both indexes were also bearish on the 4 hour. I don't see what I could have done differently. This day had a really good setup, really clean price action, somewhat on ES. NASDAQ pretty much moved sideways. That's not always, it's not a red flag if NASDAQ moves sideways and ES is showing better price action or vice versa. It doesn't really matter, right? Because wherever one index goes, the other one follows. So, you know, you just have to choose which index you want to trade off of, right? And I was not looking at this price action for a trade because this is just moving sideways. There's nothing there, so I didn't want to be caught in bad price action and have a higher risk of being stopped down, right? But this was my trade. There's nothing I could have really done differently. It's just how it is. It's kind of just, day trading. This candle we had that stopped me out was super random. I don't know what caused it. And if you look at the price action, it actually ends up going down and hitting my take profits. So it kind of sucks, right? Price kept moving up and it didn't hit no liquidity, and then all of a sudden it decided to reverse. So kind of annoying. Not even NASDAQ. NASDAQ didn't even hit the Asian session high. So really bad price action, right? When you look at this too, we hit equilibrium on the higher time frame, right? So we hit equilibrium. Like, we didn't need to retrace anymore. So I had really good reason to look for a short, to go on the sell side. But yeah, I got stopped out. Sometimes that happens. I mean, that's not too, unrare. That is sort of typical. Sometimes you know where price wants to go, but then it stops you out for no reason, and then it's odd, right? Why does price want to come back up here? I don't know why. I guess it was filling in orders because it didn't hit any draws on liquidity except this high, right? And and that high took out this high, so it's just one of those, days with bad price action. So yeah, so I lost a little bit of money on Tuesday, but yesterday, which was Wednesday, the 21st, I actually got a really good trade. So and I'll do a trade recap on that later. But that was my day on Tuesday, right? This was the trade I took. Pretty bad. We were pretty much in drawdown the entire time, but yeah, it's okay. Um, yeah, hopefully you guys learned something. Maybe, maybe not. But, you can't get too discouraged with days like this. It's how it is, it's part of day trading, right? So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.